Yeah, Julio Teheran. So we get, yeah. I mean, one thing that I'm not used to watching him pitch a lot. I remember when he was coming up as a prospect, but the one thing that I saw in this game a lot was he was really using. I mean, it's called a sinker on Statcast, but in this one, it really just looked like a hardcore two seamer, and you saw it right there that to Harper. A couple times later, he uses it as like there's one right there. He uses it as like a swing back fastball, and that's just a nice tight slider. Again, there's
And
a swing back.
one of the things that I didn't notice too, that he used the top of the zone really well, and it was something I saw on Twitter. And it was that to me is something like, and it's something that Chris Fetters might be getting with everybody because they're just hitting the top of the zone well. But he just like when he missed, he didn't miss by much, and that's something that you see that pitch right there.
Yeah,
he just seemed like he was like within a good hitting the zone where he needed to, and that's something that the Tigers really. All of them converge at the same time. It's just like mesmerizing. But yeah, this is his first inning.
Yeah, and he hung a few sliders, I would say, not in ideal locations, and he didn't pay for it. But for whatever reason, I mean, they were coming right out of the same, and that's a nasty changeup right there, really, isn't it? I mean, that first pitch.
Ooh, right there.
That really had is that Herrera off balance?
Yeah.
So he threw a couple really nice changeups.
Philly trying to bunt there the whole game. What was up with that?
It must have been something they're working on, but there's another little tight slider. But yeah, I mean, the cool thing about the changeup to me is it basically mimics that two seamer. It's like the same movement and shape. That one was a bad one, but sometimes it's hard to tell unless you're looking at the. This is Eric Haas coming up with I think he fires a seed, and I thought he had him here, but
that shocked when he threw that. I mean, that was a bad. I mean, it was not bad,
but yeah, you really. I don't know. Uh-oh. What happened?
Oh,
was that my video that did that?
Yeah.
Oh, well, bummer. So that's another one interesting where he if you can go back to those two pitches a second.
Yeah, let me go back.
Yeah, so yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like that fastball and that changeup look exactly like, at least from the camera angle. I don't know if it's exactly like to the pitcher or to the batter, but that's a weapon. I would say there are going to be times when those pitches aren't going to work, but he looks like a guy who can really eat innings to me, which is what they wanted. And the fastball, getting up to 93, sitting 91, 92 is I think that'll play with that kind of movement.
Yeah, a lot of tailing action.
Your third inning here.
Yeah, this is the third inning. Yeah, this is a lot of tailing action on his fastball, especially on the inside part of the plate. There, there's a nice setup right there, 91. But that you're right. That mixture of the fastball that right there, and he kept going back, and you see how he set the target up high right there, and he kept hitters off balance.
My torque there.
Yeah,
first base was Torkelson.
There you go.
But yeah, no, I think that's a good point. I didn't really notice about him going up, but it is something that they're working on in camp. And Hinch was really smart about it. He said, we don't want to be going up all the time, but what if that's where the guy's weakness is? You need to be able to go up there to strike a guy out or get a guy out. And I think that's a great point. You need to be able to throw everywhere if you're going to be a big league pitcher.
See, and the thing is too, like the one thing about what I like about the announcer team too was they talked about their experiences based off. It wasn't overwhelming. They weren't going, back in my day kind of thing. It was relevant to whatever they're talking about. And that's, I joked around how they kind of sound like a bunch of dudes like what we're doing right now. Just talking, straight story. I forgot what player said that. He was like, by the sixth inning, I was already on the golf. I was done by the fifth inning. By the sixth inning, I was on the golf course. That made me laugh. Yeah,
I mean, I think that especially for veterans, that spring training doesn't mean a whole lot. So that's not a great slider right there by any means. But this is where I blew it. This is where I blew it because so it goes. If you go back, I think it goes from 1-0 to 1-1. Or maybe so it's 0-1 and then 1-1 and then it goes to 1-2. I missed how it became 1-2, and it was Christian Betancourt who used to catch for Julio Teheran. They came up in the same system. Who knows what kind of bad blood's there? But yeah, look, that's a death stare.
Yeah, that's
the announcers noticed it and were having fun with it. And then they played later. They played Teheran hitting Bryce Harper, But
let me see if the audio here. Let me see. I'll play with the audio.
All right.
Let's see. I'll go back to let's see here.
Yeah, but I feel so. I'm bummed out that I missed that.
1-2 count.
Wow, he's kind of staring. I don't think Teheran looked like that swing.
Ooh.
So that was the pitch immediately following whether he thought that he didn't like when the announcer thought that Teheran did not like the way Betancourt swung, and sure enough, like you see that. And, yep. But you know what? That shows me pretty good control.
Yeah. Not like Urena, who led the league in hit batsmen.
And then he blows him away with a high. I think that might be a four-seamer when he goes up, even though it still kind of moves like a two-seamer.
But it looked like a curve.
That was like a curveball. Yeah. What was that?
73. Yeah, it didn't really have the 6 action. It was more like 12-4. Barely.
That's a Greg Maddux front door two-seamer to a lefty.
Yeah.
And then I think he gives him the backdoor two-seamer here.
I like his pacing too. The biggest thing I take away from him, tight pacing. There's a nice strike out there to end the inning.
Yeah, I mean it's really kind of it was an interesting juxtaposition between him and Skubal, who Skubal has the nastier stuff, but works. He works at a pretty good pace, but he kept throwing balls basically. So he had guys on base all day, at least from the second, third inning. Yeah, Teheran just grabs the ball and goes at you, and gets the squeaky toy. But no, I thought it was, we're not scraping the bottom of the barrel here, but this is just kind of, this is a guy that we're hoping can give him a 2-WAR season, be an average major league starter. He looked like a viable major league pitcher, and he had however many years. I mean, did you write the review, or one of us wrote when they signed him about him, and it was like, yeah, he had like 7 or 8 years in a row of being a good, solid major league pitcher before everything fell apart last year, and it was a good buy low by the Tigers, I think, and I think they're going to get some benefit from it. My dog keeps attacking me.
So for more content, go to MotorCityBengals.com. Check out all our content and check out Charlie, more Charlie Dog. So this is a Carfax for Patreon people, and there'll be more, like I said, more more content available and more Patreon stuff. So for everybody who becomes a subscriber, again, get something free for us. So thanks for taking into our improv Carfax after the podcast, and we'll talk.
Yeah, I would just say if anybody has anything specifically they want us to talk about, we'd be happy to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, anything. It doesn't matter. It could be prospect breakdown. It could be Chris and I going over Quentin Tarantino movies, whatever the case may be. If you have something in mind,
my feelings about Ranch.
Yeah, your feelings about Ranch, which by the way are, well, yeah, you know what? Yeah.
I don't know. I don't particularly like Ranch, and there are people who seem to love it and think it's the best thing in the world. And when I went to Minnesota, they were serving Ranch at the Mexican restaurant.
Oh my!
It was they gave us chips, salsa, and ranch, and I was like, "What kind of monsters are these?" It's probably delicious to some people, but I wanted nothing to do with it. So
yeah, same here. There's a place that I think it was Taco John's, which is a fast food establishment in Iowa, that had something similar.
It must be in a Midwest thing.
Yeah, drowning your food in ranch. So, on that note, thanks for taking in the Carfax. We'll see you next time.